This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. A participant in nearly 700 PGA Tour events. 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Hey, good morning. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm your host, Jay, and I'm with my buddy, longtime caddy friend, John Perlis. Pearly, good morning. What's happening?
Good morning, Jay. Everything's happening. It's good down in Scottsdale, Arizona. Looking forward to talking to you.
Well, we formatted the show like a round of golf. This first segment is called the On the Range segment, and we are giving away a dozen TP5 golf balls every week to anyone that sends me an email, jay@jdelsinggolf.com. That's J-A-Y spelled on both ends of that. And enter the word balls or the fact that you want to be thrown in this drawing, and we will pull your name from a hat and send you a dozen golf balls. All right, so Pearl, crazy first start for the PGA Tour at the Century Tournament. Jon Rahm closes 10 under par, 63. Colin Morikawa, I just got to jump into it. I cannot believe what I saw in his short game coming down the stretch that absolutely undid it for him.
Hey, Jay, talk about those tight lies, though, on that grass going into the grain when you've got to hit those touch shots, when you can't just afford to just kind of punch it up there. Talk about that a little bit, because I don't care who you are. Those are always a little bit nervy, let alone a guy that's confidence is on the rocks at best with those shots.
Yeah, so what happened first, folks, is I think on the 14th greenside bunker, Morikawa had a long-ish bunker shot, but certainly not difficult, slightly on the upslope, and he bladed it. I think Azinger called it a home run. You know, he's gonna touch all the bases, hit it over the green. Just really uncharacteristic for a guy who hadn't made a bogey all week long, John. So he'd played, oh my gosh, however, 63 and 467 holes without making a bogey, and then turns around and bogeys the next 2 holes. And what stood out to me was what he did on 15 with the tight lie that you're talking about, slightly uphill again, which for tour players really makes the shot a little easier. But when you're playing over Kapalua, John, it is such a grainy Bermuda grass. And if you're not spot on with those wedges, you're going to chunk a lot of shots. And what Morikawa did is he chunked it onto the front edge. And then, Pearl, he didn't get that ball up and down. So you could really see a guy who was in total control of the tournament go from there. He can't keep his car on the track.
Well, the guys were talking about it, the commentators as well, though, that's part of the weakness of his game. So he knows, they know, everybody knows when he got in that position. He just didn't get in that position much during the earlier part of the week. And there's just that next level of, if I just hit this one good, I'm going to win this tournament. I'm right on the edge. And that's just such a tough little shot. And there's a lot of times during the year where you might have that shot, but you're not dealing with that sticky, nasty grain. So you can kind of fake it up there. You can't fake it up there in those conditions. No,
John, if your club is slightly off plane or a little bit wonky coming in with that leading edge, folks, it is going to do the interesting thing, Pearl, the bladed bunker shot and the fat pitch, basically the same sort of thing, Pearl. That leading edge is coming in at too sharp and too abrupt an angle, and that's forehead in one and fat in the other, and neither of those are conducive to trying to win on that tour.
I don't think you're giving that bunker shot its due. I think it was a little bit longer than you're suggesting. I thought that was just past that. It was in that throw-up zone again, Jay. I mean, there's, other than this grainy stuff that we're talking about off those tight lies, that long, not just long bunker shot, but that bunker shot where you can't just hit a regular explosion is arguably the toughest shot in the game.
John, that's what I thought initially from TV, but then when I did my research, they said it was only 72 feet from the hole, which is, 18 yards or so. It was a hell of a lot more difficult than the pitch that he messed up. But anyway, let's talk a little bit more on the positive side. Jon Rahm, he started his day off with an opening bogey, John, and just absolutely caught fire 10 under par, and win his 8th PGA Tour event of the year. And how about this? $2.7 million for first place, 550 FedEx Cup points.
Well, the other thing that was important, I think, obviously he loves the money and all that kind of stuff, and he made a charge at the end, which he's known to do. But I guess clearly in the middle of the tournament, when he could have really lost it and his temper was starting to get the better of him, he calmed himself. He hung in there just apparently long enough to be able to be in some kind of a range to go for it the last day, assuming a bit of a fallback by Morikawa. But that's a big deal for Jon Rahm, because when he can maintain his composure, I'm not sure too many guys can beat him.
No, I think you're right, John. I think that's what happens, and that's that maturation, right? He's a dad now. He's got 2 children. He's married a little bit. That's part of the thing that kind of carries over. And
Wait a second. What did you just say? He's married a little bit?
No, I said, did I? I'm not sure what I said. I think he's married a lot, but it's that maturation that carries over a little bit is what I was trying to say. I don't know. Maybe we should go to the replay and see. I love those commercials where they say, let's go to the replay. John, I'm going to do the tip of the cap segment. Our tip of the cap is brought to you by the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303. And Colin Burnt is our buddy over there. Pearlie's got a Colin vehicle. I've got a Colin vehicle. My family are driving vehicles from the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. We're tipping our cap this week to Jim Cavanaugh, Matt Horner, and the entire Worldwide Technologies team for jumping into the world of golf with both feet. They've hosted and been the title sponsor of 2 PGA Tour events for a PGA Tour event the last 2 years, I should say. They're involved as presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic that we have over at Norwood, and they're not stopping anytime soon. They've also inked a 5-year agreement to be the official player development sponsor for the APGA, the Advocate PGA. That is a huge deal for those folks. And so we appreciate their help, along with Doherty Business Solutions, who brought to us that APGA event and the inaugural APGA event last year at Glen Echo. This is the tip of the cap. It's brought to you by the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, 314-966-0303. Thank you, Colin. That's going to wrap up the On the Range segment. We want to thank Doherty Business Solutions for being the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. And don't go anywhere, because I've got my interview with the Director of Golf, Mike Tucker from Bellerive Country Club. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was On the Range with Jay Delsing. For news on the latest golf equipment, tips, and to ask Jay a question, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. Coming up, it's the Front Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing.
I love having Doherty Business Solutions as the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You already know that they're the #1 largest IT consulting firm and the largest software developer in the St. Louis region. You also know that there are over 2,500 Doherty teammates in 30 states and 3 countries around the world. But what you may not be aware of is what Doherty Business Solutions does right here in our own community. They were the sponsor for the first Advocate PGA event at Glen Echo this past September. Doherty Business Solutions was also a presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They have created Access Point, which builds diversity in the IT workforce. This is a game changer in our community. Literally, hundreds of mostly young African-American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 per year jobs right out of high school, and that training begins in high school. Doherty Business Solutions believes talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. Ron Doherty, our founder at Doherty Business Solutions, is the chair of the 2023 Heart Ball, supporting the local American Heart Association Foundation. These are just a few examples of the positive things Doherty Business Solutions is doing right now in our community.
The Legends of Golf return to St. Louis in 2023. You won't want to miss one of the strongest fields in golf. Ernie Els, Steve Stricker, Bernard Longer, John Daly, and many more when they compete for the 2023 Ascension Charity Classic title, September 5th through the 10th at historic Norwood Hills Country Club. All proceeds benefit area charities. Together, we were able to donate over $1 million to those most in need last year. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. To connect with Jay, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. You'll see the latest in equipment, find the latest innovations in golf, and get tips from a PGA professional. That's jdelsinggolf.com.
The official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show is the Dean Team. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They provide me, Pearlie, and our families with all of our cars. The reason we went with the Dean Team is because we could trust them. We knew at the Dean Team they were going to take care of us, and they have. They made the entire car buying experience so simple. It was more than just simply selling us a vehicle. The Dean Team made our car buying experience seamless and enjoyable throughout that entire process. The Dean Team has the complete car buying steps done before you head into their showroom. They're ready to answer all your questions and set your mind at ease when buying a vehicle. At the Dean Team, they offer new, pre-owned, and all the services included with your Dean Team purchase. When you're with the Dean Team, they become lifelong friends. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, located at Manchester Road in Kirkwood. The Dean Team.
This is the Front Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing. The Front Nine is presented by the Ascension Charity Classic, September 5th through the 10th at Norwood Hills Country Club. Find out more at ascensioncharityclassic.com.
This is Jay Delsing, and I'm visiting with the Director of Golf, my good buddy, Mike Tucker, the Director of Golf, I should say, at Bellerive Country Club. Tuck, thanks for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me, Jay. It's a pleasure to be on with you.
You know, the Midwest is not the place to be. I want you to go ahead and rub it in a little bit and tell everybody where you are and what's happening down in Florida.
Well, I'm fortunate enough to be able to take a little time in the months of January and February, for the most part, to get down to South Florida, down here in the Jupiter Stewart area. You know, people are familiar with Jupiter and the spring training for the Cardinals, and the PGA of America has a nice home base here at the PGA Golf Club, where they have a series of events for PGA professionals like me, and there's probably 10 or 12 guys from the Gateway section down here competing and playing and just getting away and quite frankly enjoying a little bit of a break from the jobs, but also teeing it up with some guys from around the country, playing some good tournament golf, and just enjoying weather that's not so bad. It's been awfully nice down here, so I won't lie, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, rub it in. It's all good. And we'd be remiss to not talk a little bit about your big bro. You guys, long lineage of great golf professionals at Bellerive. Give us an update of your brother Jerry, and let's talk about. I know he's still got lots of game in that bag of his.
Well, it actually just happened to show itself this weekend. I was good friends and members of Bellerive, Phil Castor and Brian Levitt were down there playing in a national senior-junior down here in South Florida, and we had a little match, Jerry and I against Brian and Phil, and they're our best two players at Bellerive. They're 7 or 8 time club champions, and Jerry, as my partner, I think I cut him one shot. He shot 67, so he was a good partner to have that day. And at 73 years old, that's pretty impressive that he still can get it around. And he's been as you know, Jay, he's been a great mentor to many people in the section, and has a good so-called professional tree that has gone on to do some pretty neat things. That he started, and he was able to grow, and I've just been very fortunate enough to be his little brother and take all the advantages that come with being a little brother, and he set me up for a career in the game and the business. As it turned out, I've been so fortunate, and it was all because of him. He had an opportunity to bring me on his staff at Bellerive in 1987 when I started, and I admired the way he did his business. He was a great PGA professional, but he was also a fine player, rules official. He did it all. He was the Renaissance golf pro, and I just was fortunate enough to be in the. My mom made him hire me, I think, or something like that. So it worked out really well for me, and I owe him everything. And I try to follow his footsteps, and that's what we try to do at Bellerive now: is take our team that we bring in and try to get them into a position where they can have success and grow their careers, like Jerry grew the careers of so many of his assistants and team members I've tried to follow. And I'm not as successful as Jerry, but we give it a shot every week.
You're doing the exact same thing that he's doing. And by the way, folks, if Mike Tucker wasn't good at his job, he wouldn't have his job. So don't buy into what you just said. I don't buy into it, Tuck. It's awfully, awfully kind of you to handle that question that way, but I don't think it's true. And I know for a fact, like my friend Crimson Callahan was with you guys for a minute, and then you got him a job somewhere else, and he's off trying to make his mark and maybe back, and you're doing that with a lot of players. And also, as we kind of move into our next topic, Tuck, Bellerive, your staff, the membership there is really keeping St. Louis in the national golf spotlight, so to speak. And, the PGA Championship will never be equaled, in my opinion, in 2018, the 100th year anniversary. You guys, your staff knocked it out of the park. The play couldn't have been better. Talk to us a little bit about 2026. You have the BMW Championship coming to Bellerive, and then 2030, the President's Cup, which is an entirely different animal.
Well, I just to go back real quick, I do think some people probably thought that Tiger did win with all the throngs of people, and even our members getting so excited watching him make his charge. And it'd been a long time since we'd seen that. Obviously, Brooks Koepka is a worthy champion, a 4-time major champion, and Bellerive's produced some pretty Gary Player winning the Open in '65, being a champion, major champion, and Brooks Koepka, and we're going to see the best players in the world. And it all starts, Jay, with the membership and the leadership at Bellerive have proven time and time again that they embrace hosting championship golf. And trust me, in the members, I don't want to get in trouble by I don't want to give them too much, just like I'm stroking the membership, giving them the accolades. But hey, it's not easy hosting championship golf, and it takes effort, it takes time, and it takes your club away. It takes your golf course and your facility away from the members that are, enjoying it. And, that doesn't stop us from hosting as the championships that are worthy and come our way when the opportunity presents itself. Just like the PGA Championship of 2018, it did set records. And let's face it, Jay, you will, this as well I do. It takes a community, it takes the whole city of St. Louis, the region, the state to get behind this and make this work. And it wasn't just our championship. It was St. Louis's championship, the bi-state areas championship. And we were just, we were fortunate enough to be able to host. We've got a great physical plant. We enjoy hosting it, even though, like I said, in 18, we had a few different issues pop up with a challenge with the greens that, things happen, right? I mean, that's growing, living, of being out there, and Carlos Urrea and his team, and Carlos is now our general manager, and they did an amazing job of keeping things together, and we were able to host and conduct a great championship. And in 2026, we're going to have the BMW Championship. The best players in the world, I think, will be back in place and in play in the August of 26 that summer. And right now it's set up for the top 70 players in the world to come to St. Louis. And I think you may see a couple tweaks here and there, but I don't think much will change other than that. So I think we're ready for a great championship. And then just 4 short years later, the world comes here with the President's Cup, and who knows what the teams will look like at that time. But we know that that's one event St. Louis has not had. We haven't had an international cup match. We haven't had a Ryder Cup. Haven't had the President's Cup. So this will be an event unlike any other, because the international flavor. I mean, literally, there'll be hundreds of media visitors from all over the world, because these players are coming from every corner of the globe. So that in itself will be just a spectacle.
Bellerive hosted the 1992 PGA Championship that Nick Price won, and you were working there with your brother. Talk a little bit about, we have seen this game blow up with the career and the happenings and the significant contributions of Tiger Woods, but talk a little bit about from the golf pro perspective on trying to, I don't know, manage maybe 2, 3, 4 times fold the stuff that goes on?
Well, it starts with, again, excellent leadership, the membership. The club always has, we've already, started to identify our chairman and committee members that will run the volunteerism of that starts with the club. Then you get the associations that you're working with, be it the PGA of America, the USGA, or the PGA Tours, like we'll see in 2026. The PGA Tour will conduct that event, and we have a wonderful working relationship with all of these allied associations, and we know that there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world of professional golf right now, and we know that by the time 26 gets here, we all feel pretty good that whatever will need to be worked out or ironed out will be. We think we're pretty confident that there's going to be some kind of peaceful agreement at some point in time. And right now, that we are already starting to get the ball rolling on, hey, who's going to run and do what, who's going to lead the charge, and the members do this. We'll have, I think this one's only 1,500 maybe volunteers, 1,500 to 200 or 2,000 volunteers, but our membership will be involved in that the whole way. And again, we embrace that. So you get your committees together, you start selling hospitality, you start organizing the state of Missouri, the municipalities of Town and Country, Chesterfield. We start talking about traffic, patterns and securing hotels. So this is all, the lead up to it, the infrastructure, so to speak, of how to host a major event of any kind. And St. Louis has done a heck of a job. And every time we've been able to do this, they've come through and made it easy to work with. So I'm pretty happy that we're going to have, again, an easy road to this. We've done it before, but it does start with the membership wanting to do something like this and bring championship golf to St. Louis. And I'm happy to see our friends at Norwood that have a regular tour stop now with the seniors. And who knows what's next, but it just shows St. Louis is a hell of a sports town. You know that. I mean, I don't have to tell you that St. Louis leads the way in so many aspects. So it's a team. It's a lot of teamwork that has to go with a lot of different, moving parts with state, city, and the association. So we're pretty good at it at the end of the day, and happy to do so.
Oh my gosh, Tuck, one of the things that comes to mind is the difference between the merchandise village, or whatever you want to call that area, between 92 and 2018. It's almost like the difference between going to do your grocery shopping at a gas station compared to going to a superstore or something, because it was just phenomenal.
It went from the boutique kind of experience, maybe the mom and pop, to the big box store. We got mass. The mass. They realize the PGA of America and I think the USGA both realize, hey, you can make money in this merchandise thing and put logos on everything that's possible and sell the hell out of it. But it's truly, it's just you get lucky with having good ticket sales, corporate hospitality that helps. I mean, obviously you got to have the people there to make things work, and St. Louis always supports that. So the merchandise tent, and it was not to get into the backstory, but the merchandise tent had been in potentially in a different part of the landscape, part of the build out, and it just happened. The merchandise tent ended up where it did in 2018, right there by the entrance. So we had people coming in, going through the merchandise tent, and they were leaving, going through the merchandise tent, and they enjoyed it. And they enjoyed it many times, and that's a win-win. So that was just as it happened to work out, swimmingly for everybody.
Tuck, it got me a couple times. It's almost like an impulse item, and that's why they have the gum and the candy at the checkout aisle. That's right. Because you grab something, and I'm like, oh hell, I got to get another shirt, or I got to get another hat. It was absolutely spectacular. I'm going to ask you one other thing, Tuck, and then that's going to wrap up this first part of our interview. When it comes to your staff and the staffing, how important is it to have gone through this? Like, this is going to be probably your 5th or 6th championship. I mean, having that kind of experience, and you talk about leadership in the club, but your leadership with your team, that's crucial.
I'm super fortunate to have a great staff. And, they always say hire to your weaknesses, and I have a lot of weaknesses. So I've got, I've had to make some good hires. So I do have some returning veterans like JD Opping and, some of our crew that have been around. And what's really important, as when your agronomic team that is so vital that, hey, we don't want to be, caught out there going, hey, what the heck, what do championship conditions look like? What do we're going to have to do to get this golf course ready? Well, quite frankly, we had our hands full in 18, and we had a few challenges. We got through them with flying colors, and the golf course now is in excellent condition. We've been able to do the things we needed to do to bring up, bring the golf course back up to speed like it should be for our daily play for our membership. Our membership deserves championship conditions as well. And so we don't have to do a lot of work on the grass, on the agronomic side. And again, we've done this before. We have some people in place that have seen it before. So it's really nice to know that, we can anticipate better, and that makes the operation go better.
All right, so that's going to wrap up the first segment of our interview with Mike Tucker. He's the director of golf at Bellerive Country Club. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the second half of the interview on the Front Nine. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
That was the Front Nine, presented by the Ascension Charity Classic. Coming up, it's the Back Nine and more of golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Jay Delsing. Did you know that Marcone is the largest authorized appliance parts distributor in the world? That's right, the largest in the world. Did you know that Marcone is based right here in our backyard of St. Louis, Missouri? Well, that's pretty impressive. What's more impressive is the way that they give back to the St. Louis community and our region. CEO Jim Sowers has donated service dogs to the wounded servicemen and women of our armed forces. Suites at St. Louis Blues games have been donated and auctioned off, in which all proceeds were given to the Backstoppers. Then there was the Marcone Police and Firefighters viewing deck at the Ascension Charity Classic this past year. It was a huge success, so much so that it's being implemented on other tour stops around on the PGA Tour. To Jim Sowers and his incredible team at Marcone, we want to say thank you. Thank you, Marcone, a proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Paul Lazinger, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
The Legends of Golf return to St. Louis in 2023. You won't want to miss one of the strongest fields in golf. Ernie Els, Steve Stricker, Bernard Longer, John Daly, and many more when they compete for the 2023 Ascension Charity Classic title, September 5th through the 10th at historic Norwood Hills Country Club. All proceeds benefit area charities. Together, we were able to donate over $1 million to those most in need last year. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com.
Powers Insurance and Risk Management combines 200 years of experience and cutting-edge products to deliver exceptional service, value, and clarity to their clients. Powers Insurance will deliver the highest quality property and casual insurance programs and strategic planning consultation services in the industry. Insurance can be overwhelming and confusing. It can be tough to understand. Powers Insurance simplifies it for you and your business. Powers Insurance and Risk Management will partner with you by providing ongoing assistance, consultation, and service that will help you control your insurance expenses and your workplace safety. Find out how Powers Insurance can help you. Visit powersinsurance.com. That's powersinsurance.com. After my knee replacement, I was able to swing the golf club again without any pain. SSM Health Physical Therapy guided me through the rehab process, and when I was ready, one of their specially trained KVEST certified physical therapists put me on the 3D motion capture system. It was awesome. They evaluated my posture, alignment, and the efficiencies of my swing. They gave me golf-specific exercises to help make my swing more efficient and repeatable. Call 800-518-1626. Tell them Jay sent you for special pricing. Your therapy, our passion.
This is the Back Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing. The Back Nine is presented by Pro-Am Golf, located in Brentwood. See what Pro-Am Golf can do for you.
Hey, welcome back. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm sitting down with my buddy Mike Tucker. He's the director of golf at Bellerive Country Club, and we're chewing the fat on a little St. Louis golf, on some major championships. And Tuck, back in what I guess it was 2018, you got to play a practice round with Justin Thomas, didn't you?
I did, and here's the ironic thing about this and kind of the backstory. So Mike Thomas, Justin's dad, who is obviously well known as his mentor, coach, teacher. Mike Thomas and I were on the board, the PGA of America's board of directors back in 2010 and 11. So I got to know Mike when Justin was only 15, 16 years old. And had I known he was going to be this good, I've been a lot nicer to him when he was a little kid, growing up there and hanging around the board of the board meetings and things. But it was interesting because I remember meeting Justin for the first time. Like I said, he's 15 or 16, and he was a good junior player. And he's not a very big guy now, but he wasn't very big when he was, just a teenager. But I realized, I heard he was going to be pretty, something pretty special. And I got to know his dad, through our time on the board. And then obviously, the career took off. He was a little behind Jordan Spieth, his good friend, out of the blocks. But then, he actually, kind of almost surpassed Jordan in expectations. And they're both having great careers, no doubt. But it was pretty cool because the opportunity, the PGA, David Charles, Kerry Haig, said, hey, we'd like someone to play with Justin. And since I knew these guys and I knew I could maybe not embarrass myself to go out there and play around with him, it was pretty cool. And, he was hitting for 50 yards by me. And, I outweigh him by, 50 pounds and he's hitting at 50 yards by me, but that's the way it goes. But it was cool. My assistant, Michael Keogh, rode along with us, and he, we had this little playful match, and I birdied the first hole, so I had him one down, and I said on the second tee, I said, you're probably scared, aren't you, Justin? I got you one down. He's like, no, I'm really not. So we had a good time with it, and I think he shot 65. I knew, just kicking it around, but I could tell, just watching the best play, and you played with the best players in the world, Jay, in your career, and you've seen, you played golf at an incredibly high level. Obviously, it is spectacular to watch, someone that's just on the top of their game at the top of the world of, in their sport. So it obviously, those are the kind of the cool things when you host championships you get to do. And it's just, again, we're so fortunate. I mean, how lucky, my brother got to host a PGA championship. I got to host a PGA championship, as the head professional, as the host professional. So pretty fortunate for two guys from Carbondale, Illinois. Oh
my gosh. Well, you guys deserve it. Tuck, one of the things I got to talk to you about, because I know you know this better than I do, but I was out at 2018. I was out for Tigers Front Nine, and I had listened to you. I think you were on a Cardinal game with, I can't remember who the president of the, I know his first name was Mike DeCola. Yeah, Mike DeCola, yeah. Of course. Sorry, Mike. And anyway, you were talking about what a premium it was going to be to play Bellerive well, to compete and win the championship on hitting your driver well. And Tiger went out on the front nine and missed every fairway and shot, I think, 4 under on Sunday, didn't he?
I think he did. Yeah, he hit it in some places that we actually have a couple spots, and one in particular in the 9th hole. He hit it, Bellerive like the back of your hand too. He hit it left of the fairway bunkers on number 9, right by the cart path. Matter of fact, he probably almost had to stand on the cart path. So he's got this 45-degree angle side hill lie, balls above his feet, back left hole location, impossible to get to. And he launches it up there and hits it about 10 or 12 feet and makes it for birdie. I mean, had he won the championship, I guarantee there would be a plaque there right now. And who knows, there still may be a plaque there in the future because, and now, Jay, this is the one thing people have to remember. The greens were very receptive. They were soft that week because of our conditions. And we had, that was just the way we had to play it. So the soft conditions, quite frankly, in taking nothing away from Tiger's round, but had the greens been firmer and faster, hitting shots out of the rough, hitting shots from less than ideal lies, may have been more problematic for Tiger. So the soft conditions allowed the players to throw darts and hitting. Yeah, let's face it, when you're, Koepka's hitting driver on every tee box, I think, and if he hits in the rough, who cares? But it was still, you look at the leaderboard, it was really good drivers of the golf ball. Adam Scott was right there, even though Tiger wasn't in his driver good, but Koepka's a, fine driver of the golf ball. So a lot of long hitters, and conditions were ripe for missing fairways. You may have a chance, although he still hit some spectacular shots that we'll all remember.
How about the way that Tiger and Brooks Koepka played the 18th hole on Sunday? I mean, come on. What the hell?
Well, I tell you, I think I've said this many times, when Tiger knew he wasn't likely to win the championship after, on the walk up to 18, but when he made his putt on 18, he had that fist bump and I think he even had a little leg kick. It's like, I know and in his mind, he knew he didn't win, but I think it clicked, and he proved to himself he can win again. He could win a major. He didn't lose that major. Brooks Koepka won the major. So Tiger posted his, I believe, 14 under par, which is good enough to win that week. It just happened to be, Koepka's week. So I think when he made that putt on 18, I think his reaction was more, hey, I'm back, I can do this. And then what did he do? The next major he teed it up in was the Masters the following year, and he won. So I think that was a moment that Tiger kind of at least to himself knew that he was able to compete at the level that he needed to compete at, and that's why he kind of got excited, because Tiger doesn't get excited over second places.
No, he doesn't at all. And to me, it was also kind of like, this is symbolic to the rest of you guys on the PGA Tour. Don't forget about me. I'm back.
Yeah.
I pulled this. I forget what Tiger shot the last round. Was it 66 or 64? Wait, it was low.
I think he shot 64. Yeah.
And it was low, and he didn't win. But it was kind of like, hey guys, I'm back, and you're going to have to deal with me.
And the gallery fed off of it too. So they were, quite frankly, I think it's no secret that he was getting the biggest galleries, the biggest ovations, the roars were all for him, and So he fed off the St. Louis crowd's energy, and that walk over the bridge, and then panning back to the people down below. I mean, that's an iconic figure in golf, and it should be in St. Louis sports history as well. And so you gotta credit the St. Louis crowd for maybe spurring him on to some greatness that week.
Yeah, this St. Louis sports community doesn't disappoint. Tuck, I know how much PGA Reach means to you. I know, but maybe the folks don't quite know what great work you're doing in the community. Allie Wells, the entire Gateway section. Ozzie Smith is, oh my gosh, to have someone of Ozzie's character and celebrity to help push this ball. Let's talk about Reach a little bit.
Sure. Well, it was. The Reach program had it was just a beginning program, was a thought to get something going, and we need to have an opportunity, a charitable arm of the Gateway PGA to let's get into something that can help others. But we didn't really have, it was just we were just basically just getting started, and the opportunity arose to be considered to hosting a PGA championship. And the thoughts behind the leadership at the time was, hey, how can we tie hosting a PGA championship in our community, and how can we tie that to doing the good works that are needed in the community? And obviously we tied it to, at the time, it was a lot on the youth and junior programming in the inner city, in the urban areas that needed as much help as they could get to and a great give back. Here's golf. It's not necessarily a game that not everybody, again, we talk about diversity. It was like, wow, how can a golf tournament make my life better? I live in the city. I don't play golf and I don't go to country clubs, but it's like, oh my gosh, we're going to be able to have some really, really amazing things happen here because of this championship. So the leadership of Reach came up with a heck of a plan, and it was like, hey, the PGA of America liked it. They liked hearing, you know what? That's right. The PGA Championship comes to your city, and the leave behind, instead of the host club gets some new bunkers and the hotels and restaurants do well, it's going to be, you know what? We built this community center. We started a program, and the leave behind, it lasts forever, not just for 2 weeks. And what has been amazing, Jay, is that the PGA of America now requires every section has a reach program. And if you want to host the PGA Championship, you've got to tie it to reach. You've got to, this is where the charitable, the money's going to go to the charitable arm. This is what the give back's going to be to your community. And that started in St. Louis. It started the Gateway PGA. I couldn't be more proud. And Bellerive had a lot to do with that.
Oh my gosh, Tuck, you should be proud. And what's happening is Ozzie Smith is just a lover of the game and a huge heart for St. Louis. His championed the cause as well. He kind of hosts the gala and things like that. And what Reach, as Reach has grown and the effect that it's had on the community is amazing. And I'm not even involved with Reach, and I'm super proud to be a St. Louisan and to have it originate here and to keep it perpetuating here.
Well, and I'll tell you what, it was such a, so the program and the origination of Reach and how it grew throughout the 41 sections, which it covers the entire country of the PGA of America, to take what started in the Gateway PGA section and now to be that it's not optional. It is every section has their own program, and now we're working with veterans. We're working with different types of people that need the help. And, obviously it started with juniors and in an urban setting. Now we're trying to do more to reach out to the people who do need us, and we can do it through the game of golf. And Ozzie's been amazing. And, he just carries the weight he carries in town it's unlike just about any other. When he puts his name and he just doesn't, just show up at the function and wave. I mean, he wants there to be success with this program, and he wants us to be part of his legacy. And he gives it more than just the drive-by and the shaking of a few hands. I mean, he does a heck of a job donating his time, and we can't be more thankful. Can't have a better spokesperson and a better figurehead for the operation. But everyone should be proud in the St. Louis area that this is something that started a groundswell and is now a national program, and it's successful, and it started right here in St. Louis and the Gateway PGA. Absolutely.
And with the feather in the cap of Bellerive for hosting a lot of the pro-ams that are associated with it, and so many of the other positive attributes that go with Reach. And I think you were referring to PGA Hope when you were talking about some of the work that we do with the veterans and things like that, which is, gosh, those men and women have given us and our country and our families so much to fight for freedom and the things they do. And it's Tuck, let's wrap it up with this. I'm blown away, and I obviously not that smart a guy and not that aware, but as I get older, what this game can do, what it provides for the community, I don't know how I got this lucky. It's just ridiculous. And to be involved in it, to be able to talk to you about how you guys were instrumental in starting PGA Reach, and now it's implemented across the country. Spectacular stuff, man.
I'm right with you, Jay. I mean, and I kid sometimes because I'm, like I say, my brother Jerry and our middle brother John is actually he's the nice Tucker. He's the one that everyone likes. He's the one that's laid back. He doesn't play golf. He plays golf 3 times a year and scrambles with me. But my family, my mom and dad were amazing people. My dad worked for the U.S. Postal Service, and here what I saw my older brother Jerry do, and I've tried to do the best I can to make him proud. And for me to have an opportunity to even just mention the names we talked about in this segment, and then watch the game of golf change lives, and to be a part of it. And it's all I know. I've never had a job outside the golf business. It started when I was 16 years old working for Jerry in Mount Vernon, Illinois. It's all I've known. And I'm amazed, like you are. You played around the world with so many great players, and you've seen a lot, and think about the people we've met and the opportunities that I would never ever have if it wasn't for the game of golf. And being at a place like Bellerive, I'm going into my 26th year as head professional, and I'm so fortunate that they've kept me around for a while. And hey, we're both lucky, but I think I'm a little luckier because you've got a way better golf swing and you got a way better game. You earned your right to get out there and play around the world. Where I'm just still happy just to be a club pro and take a few bucks off my friends. So What can I say?
This has been the director of golf, Mike Tucker at Bellerive Country Club. Tuck, thanks so much for getting to talk golf with me. Keep doing what you're doing, please. We all greatly appreciate it.
Well, I can't thank you enough for having me, and it's always a pleasure. If anything I can do for you, Jay, you can reach out anytime.
This has been the Back Nine, presented by Pro-Am Golf. We'll make the turn into the clubhouse and head into the 19th hole. That's next on Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Jay Delsing, and if you're like me, you're always looking for the best ways to improve your game. That means getting the best, most up-to-date equipment you can find in golf. You can find that equipment at Pro-Am Golf. Pro-Am Golf is located in Brentwood, and since Pro-Am Golf opened in 1975, they have been more than just selling golf equipment. Pro-Am Golf is dedicated to helping build your game inside and out. Pro-Am Golf can custom fit all your clubs specifically to your build. They offer private one-on-one lessons, and they carry golf gear for every part of your game. That means clubs, balls, shoes, apparel, accessories from all the major brands. I get asked all the time by golfers, where should I go get fitted for clubs? And I tell everyone to head to Pro-Am Golf. They're the best in town. And make sure you ask for CJ. That's Pro-Am Golf. Visit ProAmGolfUSA.com. That's ProAmGolfUSA.com. I love having Doherty Business Solutions as the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You already know that they're the #1 largest IT consulting firm and the largest software developer in the St. Louis region. You also know that there are over 2,500 Doherty teammates in 30 states and 3 countries around the world. But what you may not be aware of is what Doherty Business Solutions does right here in our own community. They were the sponsor for the first Advocate PGA event at Glen Echo this past September. Doherty Business Solutions was also a presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They have created Access Point, which builds diversity in the IT workforce. This is a game changer in our community. Literally, hundreds of mostly young African-American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 per year jobs right out of high school, and that training begins in high school. Doherty Business Solutions believes talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. Ron Doherty, our founder at Doherty Business Solutions, is the chair of the 2023 Heart Ball, supporting the local American Heart Association Foundation. These are just a few examples of the positive things Doherty Business Solutions is doing right now in our community.
Hey, this is Robert Price with Elite Minds, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
This is Jay Delsing, and I've spent a lifetime in golf. And when it comes to playing the game of golf, the dining experience of a club, the amenities a club has to offer, or a family atmosphere, there's no place in Missouri like Whitmore Country Club. At Whitmore Country Club, there are 2 18-hole championship golf courses. The membership there also provides access to 90 holes of golf in total. There's a 4,000 square foot fitness center with 24-hour access. There's 3 premium tennis courts, 2 massive outdoor swimming pools. There's junior programs for golf, swimming, and tennis, and the best upscale and casual dining you'll find in the metro St. Louis area. It's a club where you will feel comfortable, a club where family and friends come and get together and really feel at home. Whitmore Country Club. Find out more at whitmoregolf.com. That's whitmoregolf.com.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing, and let's head to the 19th hole.
Hey, welcome back. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. Pearlie's with me. We're headed to the 19th hole. So, Pearl, I want to talk, first of all, the interview that I have with Mike Tucker. It's just so great. I love the stuff about PGA Reach, Pearl, that just some of the things that golf brings to the table. PGA Reach started in St. Louis. Bellerive was instrumental in that. Mike Tucker was instrumental of it. Allie Wells, and the director of, she's a current executive director of our section, all of those folks in the past were instrumental in. But, John, it just hits me. The game just keeps on providing it. And Mike Tucker's appreciative and extremely humble. And it's just another tribute to the game.
Yeah, I got to meet the PGA Reach folks down in Frisco, Texas at the new PGA headquarters. And, man, are they excited about what they've got going on. And I know they're working and reaching out with you to maybe do something special that we can't talk about at this point. But they are a passionate group, and it extends throughout the country.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so, Pearl, let's talk a little bit again about the tournament in Hawaii. I just love the kickoff. I love the Century event. It's over in Kapalua. The weather's spectacular. The scores, I mean, it's a birdie fest. But one of the things, John, that I thought was interesting and I thought really stood out on the broadcast was our buddy Kurt Byram. We played college golf with Kurt. He went to University of New Mexico 100 years ago with us. And I just thought he added such a calmness, such a professionalism to that broadcast where, and I think you said this to me off air, Azinger kind of shoots from the hip and it works, but Kurt brings a real steadiness to that broadcast.
Boy, he has really honed his craft, hasn't he, Jay, on the kind of off tournaments and the off tours. And I just think he's solid as a rocket. We're probably influenced also a little bit by, because we know him personally, and he's just such a solid guy.
Pearl, what about, it reminds me of the story that we're down in Alabama in probably top 3 worst conditions we've ever been in.
Well, when you add the top of it, that the golf course is 7,600 yards long and the rough is about 1.5 feet long, I would say the toughest I've ever seen you playing, that's for sure.
So, folks, Pearlie and this is a tour championship for the Nationwide Tour at the time, and I think we opened with like a 74, and I remember standing out in the fairway on 18. I think we decided on a 4-iron, and I was just on the edge of, was I in the fairway bunker or not? No, I don't.
No, you're in the fairway. You're in the fairway.
I was in the fairway, and I hit this 4-iron, and it went straight in the hole. It made a 2 on 18, and Kurt Byram's, you and I were high-fiving and carrying on and laughing, and Kurt said to us, he sought us out, and he said, we tried to get you 2 on the air after you hold that shot on 18, but do you remember why he said we couldn't get us on, Pearl?
There's a little bit too much profanity being flying around when we were celebrating.
There were some bad words being said. I think you were using them because I don't talk like that.
I'm sure it was me.
Yeah, it had to be you. No, anyway, I remember that, and he was such. He came and sought us out particularly for that fact, and I still get a chuckle out of that. And I think you're right. I mean, I have a really soft spot in my heart for him, and know that he's worked really hard at his craft.
He sure has. I look forward to seeing the next level with him as well. And Jay, kind of look forward to seeing how that whole team's going to come together. Now that Gary Koch and Roger Maltby are gone, there's just a different dynamic, and they've got to kind of find their way. No,
they absolutely do, and it's going to be fun to watch them hit their stride. All right, so John, I did a research here, and you know how we are with facts when it comes to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. Exactly. So put your seatbelt on. So Colin Morikawa joined a rather inauspicious group that he would probably not like to be a part of, but he's one of 9 tour players that have held a 6-shot lead or more going into Sunday's final round and not won. All right, John, here are some of the names. Bobby Cruikshank in 1928. He finished with an 80, no big deal. Gabe Brewer, 1969, he closed with 73, didn't win the tournament. Hal Sutton, 1983, closed with a 77 at the Anheuser-Busch Golf Classic and didn't win the tournament. Here we go. Greg Norman, 96, he shot 78, obviously didn't win. Sergio Garcia in 2005 shot 72 closing, didn't get the job done. Our UCLA Bruins Spencer Levine in 2012 shot 75, didn't close the door there. Dustin Johnson in 2017 closed with 77 and didn't win. And Scotty Scheffler, and this is kind of an asterisk in my opinion, John, in last year's Tour Championship, he closed with 73, but that's that staggered event format, John, for the Tour Championship. Not exactly a true 6-shot lead, but he had a 6-shot lead and didn't win the event. Tough. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I'm not trying to bust Morikawa anymore, but there's a hell of a lot of good players and some Hall of Famers in there, Pearl.
Hey, tell me what you think, because you always hear this statement when somebody's losing a big lead, oh, this is going to create scar tissue that they may never get over. And sometimes I think there might be a little bit of that, but I think a lot of times it makes them more determined to get over the hump, to find out what that weakness is in their game that caused that, or to find that outshot that they don't have. What do you think about that scar tissue comment that you hear all the time, not just in golf, by the way, but in different sports?
Well, John, with Morikawa, it reminds me of 2 years ago at the Colonial when he missed a 3-footer on the first playoff hole and Daniel Berger won the championship. I mean, people were going to say, oh, this is going to affect him forever, because Morikawa is, for winning 2 majors and the events and had the career that he has, he wouldn't be considered a phenomenal putter, and to miss a shorty like that, they said it was going to have a lasting effect. It had very little effect on him. I think, John, when you get on the PGA Tour in that level, you've learned to have that convenient short-term memory, man. When things don't go your way, you got to drop it and move on. And I mean, Colin Morikawa finished second, made a hell of a lot of money, and also finished 24 under par, John, for a 72-hole tournament. There's a lot of positives to take away there.
I think most of those guys obviously get that. They're into taking away the positives and getting that. I always make the analogy when I hear them talk about the scar tissue. Jack Nicklaus had as many second places as he did first places. I don't think he choked all those times. I just think it's that hard. And so that's part of the game, I think. And the key that you do hear most of the guys talking about, I just want to keep putting myself in the position to win. Anything can happen, and it's tough when it's really under the gun. And a lot of times they don't have the game that we think they have, and they just run out of gas.
No, there's no question about it. Pearl, that's going to wrap up another show, man. We got another one in the books for 2023.
Yeah, I forgot to do my bottle opening. Can I do it now?
Oh, yeah. Open one. Oh, that's good. All right, Pearl. Well, we will come back at him again next week with another episode of Golf with Jay Delsing. We want to thank Daugherty Business Solutions again for being our title sponsor. Ron and his team, thank you very much. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. Hit him straight, St. Louis.
You're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing. To connect with Jay, log on to jdelsinggolf.com. You'll see the latest in equipment, find the latest innovations in golf, and get tips from a PGA professional. That's jdelsinggolf.com.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion. Hey, do you like wine? Have you heard about the hottest new wine bar in St. Louis? It's called Wild Crush Wine Bar, and it's located in Town and Country on Clayton Road, just behind the Straubs. Have you ever experienced self-dispensing wine machines? Well, they are here. The only place in St. Louis and most of Missouri that you'll find them, and it's at Wild Crush. You can choose your size of pour, and Wild Crush will pour the freshest wine in the area for you. The organic argon gas system used at Wild Crush keeps this wine pristinely fresh for up to 60 days. So if you're tired of drinking wine that's been open for a few days, come into Wild Crush for the best and freshest wine selection in the area. Go to wildcrushstl.com and come have one with us. I love having Daugherty Business Solutions as the title sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. You already know that they're the #1 largest IT consulting firm and the largest software developer in the St. Louis region. You also know that there are over 2,500 Daugherty teammates in 30 states and 3 countries around the world. But what you may not be aware of is what Daugherty Business Solutions does right here in our own community. They were the sponsor for the first Advocate PGA event at Glen Echo this past September. Daugherty Business Solutions was also a presenting sponsor of the Ascension Charity Classic. They have created Access Point, which builds diversity in the IT workforce. This is a game changer in our community. Literally, Hundreds of mostly young African American women are getting $50,000 to $60,000 per year jobs right out of high school, and that training begins in high school. Daugherty Business Solutions believes talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. Ron Daugherty, our founder at Daugherty Business Solutions, is the chair of the 2023 Heart Ball, supporting the local American Heart Association Foundation. These are just a few examples of the positive things Daugherty Business Solutions is doing right now in our community.